I got a picture of your house, and you're standing by the door. It's black and white and faded, and it's looking pretty warm. See the fact we'll find our way. Oh yeah, now the lights are going out along the
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Border City Rock Talk. We get great news, great interviews, great interviewees with sometimes a comedic touch. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment below. Before further ado, I bring to you lead guitarist of Warrant, Mr. Joey Allen. How you doing, Joey?
Fantastic. How you doing, Ernst?
$1,000,000 shy of being a millionaire, but I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Everybody, I had to get a hold of Joey because he's going to be playing up in my parts, sort of. I'm right on the border with Michigan and the UP, Sault Ste. Marie, and Joey's going to be playing a show at the Island Resort and Casino in November 8th and 9th. Get your tickets, guys. I'll put the links below. Have you ever played that venue before?
I do not believe we played up in the UP plenty, but we haven't played that place, I don't think.
It's an amazing venue. Amazing. Do you remember? You probably how many shows do you think you've played? Because the first time I saw Warrant was I don't know in 1986 or seven, and you guys played a place called the Castle Farms in Charlevoix. I don't know. The castle is quite unique. Would you remember that show? It's actually shaped. It was a castle in a big field. It was owned by
I
a biker gang.
I I you know what? In the last since I got back in the band, I've done over 1,000 shows. And prior to that, we did about two every cycle we would do between 250 and 300 shows. So probably closer to 2,000 shows. So it's hard to remember any certain show, right?
Yeah, I don't want anybody to give me flack. Well, ask him a dumb question like that. The only reason I ask it just because it was such a unique venue. It was a castle. But anyways, in any event, so before I forget, a buddy of mine, I like to call him a buddy. We talk on Facebook. Greg Chason says hi.
Oh, great guy.
Yeah, he's in a new band called Atomic. Thanks, Greg, for the shirt. And speaking of shirts, what do you think of this one here?
Look at that. Bang your head.
Thanks to Vicky Cavasso. Her husband's I think he's a guitar player or something like that. He
He's
strums anyways.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Guitarlos.
Carlos. So anybody wants some Bang Your Head apparel, she's got tons of merch. I'll put a link down below as well, obviously for Warrant. Now, this question, I think you've been asked before, but I have to ask you this question because I've always thought of it. Okay, Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich is obviously the name of the first album and a song on the album. Why did you guys put that intro, Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich, at the beginning of Cherry Pie?
Because it was a continuance of the band. It was like we're going from one story to the next story. There you go.
That's the whole answer. Nothing special.
That's it.
Who came up with that?
That idea,
Yeah.
I have no idea. It could have been a producer, could have been, wasn't me.
Because
So
I remember
I don't know. I mean, look,
uh,
um, there were things we did back in the day that, like if you listen to Cherry Pie, there's a song on some of them called Ode to Tipper Gore.
yeah, yeah.
And it's when Tipper Gore was in the big PMRC thing. So we had actually
Oh,
done a radio show and we had to edit out all of the F bombs in the radio show. And then one of the engineers just strung them together. And when we heard him, he played it during one of our breaks in recording. And we said, we got to put that on the record and let's call it Ode to Tipper Gore. So stuff would come together like that. And I guarantee you that the Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich tie over into Cherry Pie was just as easy as that.
so I mean, so is it fair to say maybe Dirty Rotten Filthy Stinking Rich is an ode to Tipper and Al Gore? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Actually, D. Snyder's a big fan of Tipper. We all know that.
God
You're
bless
good.
D.
Yeah, he's going to be playing with you during this run somehow. Or is it the 2025? Because I know in this run you're doing about 12 shows, and I think you guys are doing the weekend sets. Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, UP, and then
Yes,
I
sir.
think it's next year when you're doing something with D. Snyder and Winger and something.
We've got a bunch. I think we've got one more show. Usually, what happens with D is that he's been working with Brett Michaels
Yeah,
in the Brett Michaels band. So when we let me look here. I'll see if there's any D stuff in here. D is in Tennessee in February of next year.
yeah, yeah.
So Winger, Lita Ford, and D Snyder, and it looks like Molly Hatchet.
Molly Hatchet, yeah.
Yeah.
And you got
Uh,
Nelson supporting you guys in one of these shows coming up on the weekend set. Who else did I notice here? Winger, Brett Michaels, D. Snyder, Lita Ford, Molly Hatchet, Nelson, I think, plays in one of them. But I mean, you're so busy, it's hard to keep track. Now, actually, speaking
I've
of
got it. We've got shows left this year with Nelson playing one in Northfield, Ohio. Then we've got a bunch with Lita Ford and a few with Firehouse.
so when do you guys leave for Peru? Um,
We've never played Peru.
well, I see you're playing Lima,
Hey,
Ohio.
Ohio. That was
Heyo.
Ohio.
I
Huh?
told you this interview is going to be corny.
See,
And
that's all right. Look, you got dad jokes. But Lima, or is it Lima or Lima? It's Lima. The
you'll have
Lima bean or Lima? Huh?
maybe they're the Lima bean capital of Ohio. Who
They
knows?
might be. There's
Um,
nothing wrong with a little Lima bean.
speaking of Greg Chason, what were your thoughts? Did you ever work with Jake Ely? Like the shit that happened last week? Wow.
When Badlands was being put together, they rehearsed at a place called Mates in North Hollywood, and we rehearsed literally next door to them. So we would hear
Wow.
them, and they always rehearsed late.
Yeah.
So we would be leaving, and they would be coming in, but we heard them plenty. And then we had Badlands on a few shows with us because
Oh,
we were
okay.
managed by the same individual. So I've known Jake, and then I saw Jake and Rat when I was in a band. My very first band opened up for Rat when I was about 15. So I've known Jake a long time, and scary shit, you know.
Insane, insane. Well, thank God he's going to pull through. And I mean, let's talk the news of the day. Paul Diano of Iron Maiden passed today, unfortunately.
I did not know that. Did he really? I haven't seen that on my feed yet.
Yeah, well, just if you open up any kind of rock site or Facebook or my website, bordercityrockshock.ca, yeah, Paul Diano just passed away. Well, it would have been, I don't know. Well, they're 5 hours ahead. I think he lives in England or lived in England, but yeah, sadly he's
Oh,
passed.
there it is.
You ever get a chance to meet Paul?
I did. I met Paul and I saw Paul in Iron Maiden actually. I saw the Killers tour in Long Beach.
Wow.
And then I met Paul Diano. Phil Collin from Def Leppard is a good friend of mine, and Phil introduced me. He was playing in Orange County. We went and saw him, and he introduced me.
Wow.
That's
Um,
horrible, man. I just well, bless him, man.
well, it goes to show people, with Paul performing with his disability and things, it just shows people what they can achieve. Just don't give up. And he was singing. I think he had a couple shows not even 2 or 3 months ago. I think I saw online he was singing somewhere. So, rest in peace, Paul. As
Yes.
well as rest in peace, Janie. Now I've got a Janie question to ask you before we talk about new music and stuff. Um,
Okay.
how good of a guitar player was Janie?
Acoustically he was good, but when it
Yeah.
came to, I mean, he could get through, he could show you an idea, but he wasn't
Well, he
what
wasn't a lead player, but
not no not even close to a lead player, but not even close to a when it came to rhythms, he could show you an idea and then I would run with it from there. So it wasn't a highly accomplished rhythm player, but acoustically he could play great.
that's what I was saying because I was watching some recent videos checking you out and the band and stuff. And when, obviously you see a video, you're going to see Janie, kind of front and foremost at the beginning because he's the singer. But I mean, he was playing acoustic guitar, and I didn't even really know how much he played because I've seen Warrant twice, And then, well, back the first time I saw you guys, I don't remember the show. I didn't remember the show the next day or the next week for obvious reasons. But I saw Jani about, I don't know, 15 years ago at Castle Farms, at the DTE. So, and I don't know if he played guitar there, but anyways, yeah.
Probably did. He
So,
played acoustic and on all the records, and then he played it live as well.
wow, wow, and he's a tremendous loss as well. So, in the band, you
Absolutely.
got quite a few of the originals, except for Robert Mason. It's
Yes.
you, Eric, Jerry, and Steven are in there. So that's very unique. That's why I'm going to go see the show. That's why everybody's going to go and sell it out because it's quite rare you get bands that are 2, 3, 4 decades old and they're only missing one member. Usually, it's
Right.
the other way around.
Yeah.
Um,
We'd rather not be missing that member, but there's nothing we can do about it at this point. So Robert's
yeah.
been in the band for quite some time. He's a great guy.
Holy
He
shit. Yeah.
does it
Great singer.
justice. They were good friends.
Oh, I
So
didn't realize that. So Robert
yeah.
and Janie were good friends, and so did Janie kind of say, "Hey, you guys might want to consider him, or push
No,
him to maybe apply?" Or
he wasn't. He was out of his mind when we let him go the last time.
yeah, for sure. And
Wasn't
then
sober. It was difficult. We basically, let him go at a time because we didn't want him to die on the road.
yeah, and you know what? That's compassionate of you because the thing is, you guys are making some good coin, but that shows the loyalty because yeah, the road is the scariest place for something with addictions and that sort of thing because
Yep.
they don't have to be accountable, they don't have to answer to anybody, and they can do what they want. And
Yeah.
so yeah,
This isn't about money for us. Everybody in this band does very well and it's done
yeah,
very well. It's about the passion for playing the music and
of
enjoying what you
course.
do for a living. And it was at that time too. I mean, we could have propped him up and I mean, we had a sober coach on the road with him when we were doing the reunion tour just to help him.
Is that
Not
right?
not to keep him sober because we wanted to make the money. It had nothing to do with that. It's he's a brother of ours, and to see what happened to him is just it's horrible. I've seen it happen to a few other close friends that aren't in the rock and roll business, and you don't see a lot of old alcoholics.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I know speaking of Jack Russell, I mean, he battled and he just recently passed, and I met him, and so it's a deadly disease. To be honest with you, I'm an alcoholic. I'm sober right now. I've been
Good.
sober for a little bit, but I mean, it's one of those diseases. It'll pull you in, take you out. I can go decade or weeks or months without it. Then when I hit it, I'm like, fuck you, don't remember the night before. So
Yeah.
it's sick. It's a sick disease. But anyways, let's not talk about me. Let's talk about Rockaholic. I got to tell you, a lot of people fall, as we get older, our music interests stay in the 80s and the 90s, the first 2 or 3 great albums by Warrant, by Def Leppard, by Van Halen. And as certain bands go, you kind of lose track. So what I did was because I'm going to go see you guys. I thought, okay, I'm going to catch up, see what they've been doing. And since Janie left, I put on Rockaholic. I was doing the dishes, I was cooking or something. I listened, holy fuck. And I was thinking, this guy is a great singer, Robert Mason. I mean, just amazing. And then my buddy, I don't know if you saw the links of my intro video. He said Doggy Dog is one of the most underrated Warren albums ever. What would you say if you had to? Like, I know they're all good for certain reasons. If somebody put a gun to your head, a hypothetical gun, that's from Couples Retreat, that movie.
Mhm.
What would you say would be one of your favorite or your favorite album overall?
I'd say Dog Eat Dog just because of the timing of it and the production and just the memories of making it. We didn't stick around LA. We left and went to Tampa for 5, 6 weeks. So we transplanted. We took our crew with us. It was a magical time for us, and we were solely focused on making the record. So that's all we did. You know, it wasn't like go home at night and have the wife and the kids and everything like that. It was just go home at night and practice or go home at night and get a good night's rest so you could get up in the morning. I was the one always the first one in the studio in the morning. I'm the early bird in the band. I get up 4:35 a.m. every day. And once Michael Wagner got up, we were rolling over to the studio. So that had to be it.
Mm-hmm. So you got up at 4:30 this morning, like boat,
This morning I was a little tired, so I got up at 5.
and your wife's making you go to that high school thing at 7 o'clock?
Can you believe it?
Just kidding.
It's actually 6 to 8.
Oh
So,
my, what is it? A choir or is it an assembly or
no,
is it?
no, my son is a year and a half away from high school. So around here we go tour the high schools and they do a
Oh,
a Q&A,
re-
and they kind of try to sell you on the high school.
it's like recruiting. It's like a college recruiting, but just at a lower level.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so your son's 12. Um, does he ever get sick and tired of people coming up to him, especially old people, saying, "Hey, your dad's Joey Allen"?
Huh. Um, he has just a different perspective. So no, I mean he goes on the road with me every once in a while, and he's pretty grounded. So he doesn't. We don't really, for me, it doesn't really happen a lot. I mean, sometimes I was in professional drum shop the other day, and somebody was in from they I think they were they down from Canada? They might have been. But they were going to see Joni Mitchell last week at the Hollywood Bowl, and there was a young girl and she was a big Warrant fan, and she came and asked me and we took a picture. So it doesn't happen much anymore.
Well,
So he
you
doesn't
know
really have to
what?
think about
I'm going to tell you, you're probably right. It was a Canadian, I'll say, because Joni Mitchell is a Canadian. She's
it. Yep.
transplanted down there, but she's a Canuck. So you
There you
said
go.
you're working just for gigs for shits and gigs in a drum store?
Yeah, no, I don't work at a drum store, and it's not just for giggles. I've worked for 19 years for Pearl Drums. It's the number
You
one
guys
drum
have
company in the world.
t-shirts you send out to interviewees?
What, Pearl Drums?
T-shirts? I'm just joking. I'm just bugging because I got these shirts. So yeah, so you've been working for Pearl for almost 20 years.
Yeah, 19 plus. I'm a national account rep.
So how does that work out? And like I'm being serious asking this as a guitarist, not a drummer. How did that come about?
There was a distribution for Hughes and Kettner amplifiers out of St. Wendell.
Oh, the amps.
I've got an engineering degree, so I used to build amps for Jackson Charvel in the mid '80s,
What?
and
Wow.
yeah, and they hired me to be the West Coast district sales manager for that, and I did well. And then when that distribution went away, I moved over to the drum side, and they gave me the national accounts, and here we are.
So you ever walk in an office to try to make your sale on your pitch and you say, "Hi, Mr. Johnson, I'm Joey Allen. You might know me from such bands as Warrant."
I haven't done that one time in my entire career with Pearl. I would never do that.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not. If I could get away with it, I would. Anyways, last album was Louder, Faster, Harder, and that was 2017. Is there any news on any music being like you guys
It's louder,
obviously?
harder, faster.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, got
You're
that mixed up.
dyslexic, Ernest.
Well, it's
And
brand new glasses.
we may have borrowed a little bit of that from your very own April Wine. Who knows?
Yeah, and Miles Goodwin passed away this year too. Like this is a somber interview, Joey.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Miles was a friend, and I'm a huge fan of April Wine. So bless Miles. He was a great guy. I got a picture with them. We used to do shows when they would come down, same agent, so they would come down and we'd actually open for April Wine, and they were fantastic. Love them.
Yeah, for sure. Sign of the Gypsy Queen, my favorite song. But anyways, yeah. So are you guys writing anything, or is there any possibility of a new album coming? Because like I said, Rob, he's got a great voice.
Yeah, outside of the last one we did in 2017, what we're doing right now is we're actually cataloging all our private video and everything we've got from back in the day, and we'll probably do a project like that before we do any new music.
Okay.
And if we do new music, I don't know if we'll do a whole record, and just maybe, a song or two at a time.
Yeah, well,
It's
that's what.
really, it's really not a big to do a record anymore. It doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah, because you can do it from home. First of all, everybody
Yeah,
doesn't have to go to the studio, so why
right,
waste money renting it?
right.
And actually, that's kind of the trend now. Is a lot of bands what they might do an album, but a lot of them are just releasing singles here and there on YouTube and Spotify. So a lot of bands I don't even think are thinking about 12-track albums or do that. Let's do 3 or 4 songs, release them
Yeah.
subsequently, see how it goes.
Yep. So we'll see. But right now it's just a cataloging all the old video stuff. So no plans on a new record yet.
Okay. All right. Well, before I let you go, I just got a couple cliche quick questions here. And like I said, links will be below so you can make Joey richer, buy all the merch, go all those
Huh.
shows. Going to be links there. favorite Canadian band or artist? I know you mentioned April Wine. Is there any other one?
I can name a bunch of Canadian. I don't have one favorite, but I've got a bunch that I really like. So let's go through the list. Obviously, there's Rush. There's
Yeah.
Frank Marino and Mahogany Rush.
Yeah.
There's April Wine, right?
Yeah.
There's Killer Dwarves.
Love the Killer Dwarfs.
Love Russ. Love that. What was the record with Dirty Weapons on it?
Oh, it was called Dirty Weapons.
Yeah, then that record was brilliant.
Yeah.
Love that band. Where to Triumph?
My favorite band, actually. I have to.
You
Well,
know,
Killer Dwarfs and Triumph are my two faves.
that Triumph I saw at the S Festival. I've seen Rush live. I've hung out with Alex a little bit because of the Hughes and Kettner amplifiers, and just a fan. So there you go. There's a bunch of Canadian bands that I'm into.
Right on. What's the opposite of unsubscribe?
Subscribe.
Everybody do as the legendary guitarist from Warrant, Joey Allen says, to subscribe to the channel. I'd like to thank you for your time. I hope you don't get in shit from your wife. Well, actually, no, you won't be late because we started early. I hope you have
We
a good
did.
time.
Thank you. And we'll circle back around and do the guitar thing you want. I just,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
better when I'm off tour and I got time to do it. So we'll circle back around and do it. Promise
We'll
you.
do we'll do part two, and I'll come and see you, or I'll try to see if I can come and see you when I'm in Harris, Michigan next month at the show.
Good. Be good to see you. I'll be there for 3 days. We get in the night before, so you know how to get a hold of me. If you need anything for that show, let me know. I'll get you on the list for a meet and greet. If you need passes, any of that, let me know.
I'm gonna do that, and you can find me at the Frankenstein machine. I like to gamble.
Nice. I'm not a gambler.
Frankenstein machine.
I love it. That's not Frankenstein, but he's close.
Right on. All right. Thanks a lot, Joey.
All right, Ernest, be well.
Okay, I'll let